Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream here. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we hop on the charts on this beautiful Monday, April 20th, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything here or anywhere else. Make sure you always do your own research, make your own decisions. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all your money. It's a silly thing to do. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer. This is I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top Up Futures code RDF and others. Can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Important for me to note that for you to do your own dang research and make your own dang decisions. Chat, what's going on, guys? How we feeling today? Good morning. I'm excited, man. I'm excited not only because the markets are constantly bringing this excitement to us, this just never-ending volatility and uncertainty, which is maybe not the easiest thing in the world to trade, but certainly exciting. But also to talk about my new partnership with Squawk. I've been talking about those guys for not very long, but really excited to be talking about that later on this stream. So stay tuned. I got some exciting stuff for you guys. Got a whole bunch of fun stuff coming up. We got giveaways. We got crazy discounts, man, to the best prop firms and services out there. I'm really excited to bring this stuff to you guys. I love being able to provide my my community with the same stuff that I'm super excited about. But first and foremost, before we hop into that, let's jump on these charts, man. We're opening up here at a very interesting point. Very interesting point. So as you can see here, let's start on NQ, since I think a lot of you guys are on NQ. You know, I'm watching NQ and ES these, NQ and YM these days. We're on the 15-minute chart here. I have a Lucid account, another Lucid account loaded up. We're going to see if we can't take another payout today. Taking a look at the daily first on the US indices. Obviously, last week, big push to the upside. Market liked everything that was going on with the conflict in the Middle East. Maybe starting to, kind of calm down a little bit. I like the news that was getting put out from that at very least. Overnight, over the weekend, I should say, because it is Monday. Over the weekend, we had something pretty interesting happen, and we got some, feels fairly familiar, right? Kind of like what we had happen right here. We had negative news over the weekend, right? Essentially saying, straits closed, right? And nobody knows if the straits open, the straits closed, like, we could only go off of comments, right? Especially if you're me sitting here in, in my office, not there to confirm or deny anything. But essentially, we had some negative news over the weekend, right? What did we get? Market gap down, and we're pushing back to the upside. Now, I posted, I tweeted, I threw it on IG. I asked, like, is it really that easy? Is it going to be that easy just to long on the gap down for the gap fill? And I said that because, if you weren't paying attention last week, here was the gap down. And it does look like we're pulling a real repeat of exactly what we did here, which was gap down at the open for Sunday, Sunday evening, right? This was last night. And then push right through the overnight session into the open. If we pop into the open, it will have been that easy. It will have proved to be that easy. Just go for the gap fill. I said, is it going to be that easy, or are we getting baited this time around? We got something similar on YM because we are getting ready to open up here, 9:30 a.m. Here we are, going right up to the upside to fill this gap. Right up to fill this gap, man. Absolutely incredible. What a repeat of last week. There it is, guys. Gap filled. Right up. Congrats if you really just played that one back, man. Very, very interesting to watch the market just pull a complete repeat. So let's see what we get here on YM. All-time highs right over here, guys. We are continuing this big bullish push to the upside. Overall, right, higher time frame trend up, moderate time frame trend up. I've got some higher time frame levels marked out on this chart. Some updated stuff. Looking at this on YM, right? Coming off of last week, coming off of taking some L's early in the week, not really being super quick to adjust and just smash the buy button, the long button. I'm going to be a little bit cautious on the short side, right? So we're opening up here, 60 seconds into the open. I'm not going to short off of the break of pre-market high, which we are already getting right here. I'm not going to short off of this gap fill, Friday's volume point of control, which I don't think is a terrible spot, right? If you had a bearish bias for some reason coming into this, and you were intending to short this market, I don't think now is a terrible spot. Stop could be outside of yesterday's high, Friday's high, all-time highs on NQ and ES, recent highs on YM. I'm not looking to do that. On another day where this is not what we've been doing, maybe, but I'm really not looking to short that. If we started to come up above towards this 50,000 evens today here in YM, I would be interested to see what happens around this level. This is obviously a big, massive psychological level, right? It doesn't get any bigger than that, I don't think, on any of the US indices that we trade, as far as the 50,000 evens. Now, it hasn't been a terribly cleanly respected level. You can see the wicks down into it. You can see the approaches, but not like right off the 50,000s. If we start to come outside of this high, right, outside of Friday's high, I'll be interested. But as far as an aggressive short right into the open, definitely not. And I really would prefer not to be selling this market. If I have to take L's, I'd like it to be on the long side. Now, on the long side, right? Could go for a similar play for what I was looking at and didn't get on Friday, right? That VWAP retest, right? Back down to VWAP, looking to buy right off of maybe a little bit of a hesitation in here. I don't mind that on YM. I'm gonna try to keep myself off of NQ into the open. If we got a pullback, I would look to aggressively long this thing. I don't love the structure where we gap down, fill the gap, and then sell back off, right? That's not what we did here. That would not be a repeat. Gap down, fill the gap, and then we didn't sell off. We just continued. Much choppier on YM than it was on NQ and ES. But I would be looking long on this. I'm gonna have to see, guys. I really don't want to call out any specific spot. I'm gonna exercise some discretion coming into Monday. Talk about the news here in a minute. We are on a no news Monday, but I just want to watch these with you guys for a moment. We could get some good mornings in. Good morning, chat. Good morning on YouTube, Kick and X. Welcome back to the show. What a repeat, man. These got to go. That can stay. What an absolute repeat. Crazy to see. I mean, choppy, right? Choppy overall, but here we are, right to the upside. Okay, pop to the upside right off the open. Little bit of a pullback here in NASDAQ. Not too much out of YM outside of a drive higher. Again, really not looking to fade this market. Up above this high, if we started to crack Friday's high, last week's high, I'd be curious to see what price action market structure looked like up there. But I'm going to keep myself somewhat patient on the short side. Long side, I wouldn't mind it from all the way down here, right? Somewhere into this opening price, back down into this area of high volume. I think that would give me a way to structure risk to say, hey, I think we might just kind of keep doing what we're doing, right? I might be able to catch a mean reversion trade. I might be able to catch a trend following style trade, a continuation style trade, and get a stop loss way out here where if market says, nope, we're coming down through VWAP, through this area of high volume, all the way down, maybe back here, I'm dead wrong, right? And I'm okay with that. But I think we got an area of volume here, right? Price action to market structure, a point of control, VWAP. We got an area of interest up here. And that's pretty much my thesis if you're new here, guys. All right. I think we are likely to move to and from these areas of high volume, right? Quickly in between these areas of low volume, right here, right? It's kind of the general thesis. Paying attention to higher time frame trend, lower time frame trend, price action, market structure, volume, little bit of order flow, right? Quite a bit of discretion, so it's never as simple as just something that can be mimicked very easily, but I try to make it pretty clear and simple. Now, popped off the open, filled the gap, Right back to Friday's volume point of control, temporary volume point of control. Where do we go from here? Do we just blast? Maybe. I won't have a trade. I won't have a long. NQ gave you a little bit of a pullback, but I'd be waiting for a later day long. I think this was your, again, we talked about, overnight session, Asia, London, into the opens being a big part of the move. This would have been the way to structure risk, right? You can start getting long in here, but this can start to be dicey, right? Stops at VWAP and things like that. I would definitely be interested if we pulled back down here on NQ as well. But like I said, I'm gonna try to keep myself on YM for the morning. It's just been paying me better, continues to pay me better. So I'm gonna try to do that. But wild markets, man. Absolutely wild markets. Good morning. Let's get the good mornings in, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Smash the like button. You guys know the drill. Maybe we get some likes up today. Maybe we run some giveaways. I don't know. You guys didn't want one on Friday. Nobody wanted a giveaway on Friday, so I don't know. Nobody likes free accounts anymore. What's up? Hamed, what's happening? Afters, Digital Nukes, Vincent, Maritime Trades, Dwayne, Amor's Fit, RC, Top Dog, Glens, Johnny, Purple Ninja, Quat9. You guys and your crazy names. Harsh, Van, what's up? Curtis, what's up? Hey Zach, it's Wardy. Just wanted to update you that I got your email last night. Let's go, Wardy. Tom Ward, what's happening, brother? Just bottom ticked. LVN, low volume note, tap. Nice. Nice. Who's your favorite trade influencer and why? Me. I'm the best there ever is, Curtis. That's it. I'm the #1 trader. Nobody's ever done better than me. I'm #1. Everybody else is #2. No, I'm just kidding. If you're asking me others, I don't know that I have a favorite. I got a bunch of guys that I've worked with and traded with in the past. I've got a bunch of people that I've taken a lot from, that I've learned a lot from. I think they all do different things very, very well. But yeah. All right, guys. So we're watching. Good morning. Good morning. We're watching into this open. Let me see if I got the good mornings going. What's going on, everybody, on Kick and X as well? I don't want to leave you guys hanging. What happened to Kick? I think we're still there. Kick? Are we still there? I think so. So you guys know I do stream live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitter, aka X. If you don't like one platform, maybe you like another. We're non-discriminatory here at Real Deal Futures. We'll stream anywhere they let me stream, all right? We'll throw it up. But as I'm waiting for this market to pull all the way back down, I got a little bit of time. I'm looking at ES, and is NQ dipping? Uh-oh. We gonna get it on NQ, man? You gonna get it on NQ today? It's a tricky one, guys. Before I talk about new Squawk, before I talk about a new partnership that I'm very, very excited about, I don't think I have a good clean opportunity coming here. There's a chance that NQ and ES, the bottom just falls out, and YM is late to the party. Kind of feels like YM wants to catch up today. The others have blasted through all-time highs. YM has not. NQ and ES giving us a little bit of selling pressure for a potential long entry. I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I want to get too aggressive here, but I got a couple accounts to trade. I actually got tons of accounts to trade. So yeah, I'll probably go for this. I'll probably go for this. On this bad boy, I'd have to be running MNQ to be halfway reasonable. Let's just start to see what this looks like. Let's just start to see what this would look like if we came down in here. Start to get some... If we had a really nice kind of crack through VWAP, could set me up for a long. I think that would be pretty nice, like right off of volume point of control and VWAP after filling the gap. Yeah, something like that. Survive a sweep of prior day low would be really big. You could run something like that as well. Just measuring out some risk here, being lazy. Here's one of the... I don't love a lot about trading on TradingView. I love charting on TradingView. I love the indicator suite. I love the drawing tools. I love so much about TradingView. I don't love trading on TradingView. The execution is slow. It's inherently laggy. We're connecting too many things together. I don't like it, but for the purposes of trading live with you guys here, I don't mind it as right now. But for the first trade in a fresh-ish Lucid 50K Flex account that we were just running up last week, another one of these bad boys. I got 5. I think I might run one of these long. Again, pretty dang full risk trade, right? I trade these accounts very, very, very aggressively. I will lose some on the way to faster and larger payouts. That's just a reflection of my confidence as a trader, my experience level, my capital allocation, general risk tolerance, right? I think maybe somebody else would be better suited for something like this, right? Where they're going to give themselves a dozen trades before they potentially lose an account, right? It all depends on where your head's at. But I wouldn't mind something like this. I think that'd be pretty gnarly. Wouldn't mind something like that. So we're gonna just now that we got a little bit looked at here. Yeah, why, right? Why NQ? I don't have a setup coming on YM. I'm not going to take a short up here for a mean reversion play off of the gap fill. Could certainly happen, right? YM could just be holding a little bit stronger here. Talked about getting interested above this level into the 50,000 evens if we push that far. Really would prefer to position myself long. We got a bullish market. Yeah, overall I'm gonna stay patient for right now, guys, but I think I'm gonna have to watch NQ. I think I'm gonna have to be watching NQ on this, and so looking at something like this. Oh, excuse me, MNQ. Yeah, just so I could size down a little bit. Something along these lines. If we came all the way down through VWAP for a quick crack down, run a really, really, really nice wide stop loss. I don't know that I need. I could almost run this on NQ. Could almost run this on NQ. I don't have to do micros. Sorry guys, just bear with me. I'm just measuring out a little bit of risk on today's volatility to put a nice banger trade on, something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna sit patient on this for now, but we'll watch NQ for the time being. 9:45 a.m. here. Could get a quick crack down. I want to come over to talk to you about news Squawk. I really do, right off the open this morning, but I got an opportunity to look for a trade here, so I don't want to get too distracted like I have in the past. Just taking a look at bookmap over here on the left-hand side. My good old trusty order flow tool. All right. Let's hang tight. Let's hang tight. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Why place your stop there? I don't know. I think that's a pretty good validation point. I think if we come all the way through that stop loss point, I no longer want to be long. I think the market's more likely to go down than it is to go up. So for those reasons, I would place a stop at a certain point. It does look like can't log into my list account. That's interesting. Some sort of investigation into Ninja Trader. I don't know what's up with that. Passed the Lucid 50K on that rejection. Nice. Trump is speaking about ministers of Iran sometime today in the ceasefire. Is he? Well, you know what? Since we started talking news, let's talk about it. I'll leave Bookmap on NQ over here so I can watch it at the same time. We could all watch it at the same time. If we start to break down, I'm looking around the 26,700s-ish for a long. We could actually just leave this up just in case we start to come all the way down here. But I am excited, very, very excited, to announce that I am now officially partnered with the platform that you are looking at. I wasn't able to show you guys this last week, but this is Squawk. Squawk is, in my humble, now biased opinion, but like I was saying, unbiased last week, humble yet biased opinion, the best and fastest source for financial news headlines, financial news in general, scheduled data releases, all things markets. This is what the platform looks like. This is a paid news service. You can use code RDF to try it for an extremely inexpensive price for 7 days, $19.99 with code RDF. And you can also get 20% off if you decide to subscribe for the year or the month. Just to talk about what this is, right? Real-time news headlines, curated news headlines. This is completely customizable. You can do so much with this. I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of an overview right now. All of your, all of your really crazy, big market-moving news headlines right in here. I've got this set up as a Truth Social feed right here because whether we like it or not, Trump is moving the market. The market moves immediately on Truth Social posts. This is extremely low latency to get these fed right in. A curated Twitter feed, so essentially instead of having like Twitter open on the side with a whole bunch of, different accounts that you want to follow, just in case Twitter gets something first, one of these accounts gets something first, you're going to see it here real quick. Financial news calendar, which I have filtered for a couple different things. You have so much more on this site. It's really just incredible. You can create different watch lists. You can watch crypto. You could watch energies. You could watch metals. Again, your general financial news calendar. A research suite where you have daily, weekly, morning, evening, complete detailed research reports. I'd say significantly better than what Claude or ChatGPT is going to provide you, right? And then a whole bunch more. This is just touching like some of the most basic stuff. They have detailed options data, SEC filings, large trade alerts, a ton of stuff. As we're starting to come lower, I'm just going to show you one more thing, the big claim to fame here, which I have off. This is real-time alerts pumped in live. I'll turn it on later so we can listen to it. Looks like I might have a trade coming up here, guys. But it is somebody, not AI, somebody live waiting to read breaking headlines before they're even typed up and put out through, their platform. Read them aloud to you. So if you're trading right now, just arguably, you're trading headline markets. We are trading news-driven volatility. I would argue it's probably helpful to have those headlines as fast as you possibly can. Maybe you find that stuff distracting. Maybe you don't trade with fundamentals or macro or geopolitics at all. In the past, I've been much less apt to pay attention to that type of stuff. These markets have absolutely forced their hand. I just do not have an option. And I think really an insane advantage is having them first. Having them literally faster than any other news site. I'm sure there's, institutions use this. Institutions, banks, funds. I'm sure there's other stuff out there with insider, right? There's always some inside information that gets disseminated quicker, right? You can see that in price. But they're competing for up to the second speed on this. Really up to the millisecond speed. Really, really awesome. If you guys want to check it out, I'll throw the banner up here for a minute. You could get 20% off plus a 7-day trial for $19.99. Again, this is a paid service. I will tell you this. It's one of the most expensive paid services that I've found in the trading space. And there's a good saying that I believe is very true. The good stuff, it's usually S-H-I-T, but I'll try not to curse for YouTube. The good stuff ain't cheap. The cheap stuff ain't good, okay? Maybe you're dead broke and, you're not going to pay for anything. That's fine. Good order flow, good level 2 data, the fastest source for news where somebody's waiting to read you the news aloud. You know, there's going to be a price behind that. I think in the course of a 7-day trial, you could either make the price of the yearly subscription or prevent yourself from losing the price of the yearly subscription. But if you guys want to check this out, I will throw the link in the chat. There's very few things in this space, right? And I usually don't go out on a limb like this, but I'll go out on a limb here. Very few things that I've found in my time trading where I go, how was I operating without that, right? Like, how was I really doing what I needed to do without that? This is one of them. So there it is in chat for you guys in YouTube and in Kick. If you guys want to check it out, News Squawk is the deal. Super excited, man. I got some videos, just rolled out a long form video talking more about the platform. I'm still watching this market, but we'll come back. I'll answer some questions. I'll kind of take you through a little bit more because it is super advanced. But I'll turn that News Squawk on so we could I'll turn the live audio alerts on, the Squawk itself on, so we can listen to it. But if you're interested, somebody commented in chat, right? Trump's gonna start talking about the ministers of Iran sometime about the ceasefire. If you want to know the fastest pieces of information as that starts to happen, I'm actually going to take it down right over here. As that starts to happen, this is the platform to have up, right? This is the platform to have up. So, pretty solid, man. Pretty solid. Another thing about it, just to kind of go on a little bit longer, we're talking News Squawk here. I'll throw the banner up. One thing that I really liked about these guys, if you even just try it out for $19.99, you get multiple people from their team that reach out to you, that offer to set up a call to talk to you one-on-one, to take you through the service, take you through the platform, answer any questions. Super white glove service, where it's not like, okay, you're just subscribing to some weird Discord feed or some random thing. Super hands-on, and on the platform you have access to an analyst chat. So even after that initial call, if at any point throughout the trading day you have a question, you see a headline that you don't understand, you see the market move and you don't see a headline, they have a person to ask specifically, multiple people, right, waiting to ask. Not AI BS chat that you're talking to Chat GPT. Research analysts that are putting this stuff out and, super in tune with the market. So that level is just something that I haven't seen from anything else out there at all. Pulled back down close to VWAP here, guys. This was the trade that I was looking at. I mapped this out a couple times here with you. Kind of feels again like a repeat of Friday. Not close to hitting my potential entry. Here's what we were looking at here, right? Just to map this out one more time, was looking at a pullback down into VWAP, into this volume point of control. We got like close, but not really. I'm not always gonna front run my levels for no reason. Just showing a lot of strength. Here we are bouncing 250 ticks off those lows. Let's see here. Come back over to YM. Yeah, YM just hanging out up here. Feels like YM wants to blast off, and NQ and ES wanted to pull back. That's probably all they wanted to do. Go and put the low of the session in, and now we're going to blast off. That's certainly the case that we're making to come all the way back up through these highs, at least right now. Again, we got relatively close down here to the area that I wanted. Just not quite there. To me, I'm very discretionary with my entries. Pretty damn flexible. I gotta wait for at least the bare minimum guardrails for something to happen, right? And I was looking for a long right in here, right into the 26,700. So kind of feels like a repeat of Friday where I didn't get one on. again, we got plenty of time here. We're not even 30 minutes into the start of NYSE Open for the fresh week. I'm not looking to do anything too crazy. I pulled some crazy moves early last week, and they resulted in L's. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that this week. But this was what I was looking for the long. This is what I was looking for the long. Whoa, whoa, not what I want. Not UM. Yeah, I'm going to stay on NQ for the time being. Pop over to MNQ if I want to throw the trade on. But so far, continuing this bullish drive from the overnight session. Gap down. Asia, London pushing to the upside. Mostly holding above VWAP. Consolidating here right into pre-market, pushing up to the upside. We had a quick wick up, pull back down, and now it's off to the races here. This was close, really close, not enough. I'm definitely not going to be front-running VWAP for long entries, while we are 750 ticks above daily lows. That's just not my entry. That's more of a breakout trade, right? That's more of a just getting long for a continuation. I'll go for the continuation trade on NQ, but that's definitely not my trade. So, if you are in long from down here some way, somehow, you're waiting for some kind of price action, maybe on a low time frame, right? Something like this to get long with a stop loss right below here, push to the upside. Maybe good job. We'll see if it plays out. But I'm sitting patient for the time being. Bro, I hope it comes back. Didn't get my entry. For sure. What's up, guys? 30MD30, what's up? I'm watching some headlines come in on new Squawk, like we're talking about. I'll get the new subscription. As an intraday trader, it's pretty useful service. Yeah, Sand the Trader. Yeah, again, I wouldn't sleep on it. Again, you can try it for less than 20 bucks for a full week. You can use the entire service for 20 bucks for an entire week. I'd argue using it, you'd probably get a good return on investment for your 20 bucks, but that's of course, going to be out for debate. I do think, like anything else in trading, if you're going to add something in, you probably do need to use it for more than a week before you decide whether or not it's going to be helpful or harmful to you. But yeah, just these markets really drive it, right? If we're in markets where we're just drifting around, there's nothing going on at all, still helpful to be paying attention to, news and macro to a degree, but maybe not as helpful as what we have like right now, which really hasn't changed in a while. But where we are consolidating and then blasting in one direction on volume and a ton of momentum on the next news headline. I joked about this last week, but we used to be able to avoid trading news. We could just say, you know what? NFP Friday, guys, I'm not going to trade, right? FOMC, I'm not going to trade FOMC meeting minutes. Every day now, we're trading multiple red folder news events. Like every day, unscheduled, unprompted. We don't know when they're coming. We don't know what they're going to be. Don't know what the, forecast was in the last one. So having at very least as they're coming out, right? Because you're not going to get it beforehand somehow, but as they're developing, you could maybe decide, hey, I was about to put a trade on, I'm not going to put one on. I was waiting for something to start moving in my direction. Now I know there's fundamental, there's some, news behind this. I'm going to put one on. Maybe you're in a trade, something starts to go crazy, you hear the headline, you go, you know what? I'm going to go stop loss to break even. I think this could go either way. There's plenty of different ways that you could apply this, on a very basic scale if you're trading intraday like that. Along with creating a real bias, right? A bias not only rooted in technicals, because technicals do tell the story, but also what the heck's going on behind the scenes, right? And again, there's plenty of times where it seems like the market's going to just kind of do whatever it's going to do, and it doesn't care about headlines. It doesn't care about what the president has to say. Financial news, data releases, the Fed are important. Like, none of that right now seems to be moving the market at all. Truth Social posts, immediate volatility, crazy movement. Headline on comments out of the war that we're in the Middle East, massive movements, right? Massive movements. So I'm reading headlines right now as they're coming out. U.S. VP Vance expected to depart the U.S. for Iran talks on Tuesday. Second round of talks currently planned for Wednesday. U.S. equity open. That's just a general comment talking about Iran headlines dominating the tape. But yeah, I'll kind of show you guys this again as I'm reading it. If you hopped on late, this is News Squawk. Paid real-time financial news, just reading some of these. And then again, you get, full write-ups that you can go back into the research suite and actually read outside of just headlines themselves as they break like this, right? Twitter feed, Trump Social, Trump Truth Social. But yeah, we'll see as they start to come in, right? So a good example was what we were talking about, earlier. Somebody mentioned that Trump's expected to speak with ministers of Iran sometime today about the ceasefire. So, once that starts to happen, we'll start to get the headlines breaking from it. But yeah, again, there's just very few things these days because I've just tried so much. I've paid attention to so many different things. I do like to keep my trading very simple. I like to keep what I use really simple. I've been watching news, right? I've been using forexfactory.com, a little bit of financial juice. This one is leaps and bounds ahead of everything that I've seen so far. Again, not cheap, right? But there's a saying that goes, the cheap stuff ain't good and the good stuff ain't cheap. When it comes to trading, I don't look for the cheapest of anything. In fact, I intentionally look for the best that I can get, regardless of price, right? There's an infinite amount of money to be made or lost here. If you're looking to pinch pennies on the products and services and things you're using, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Not everybody has the luxury to do that. Totally understand that, right? We're all at different spots in our trading, and if you're dead broke, you don't really have money to invest in any of those tools or products and services. I certainly do think you could get by, for a while and learn the ropes. Keeping things very, very, very inexpensive is not, a lot you have to pay for in this space. As you grow and you're looking to, gain and maintain an edge in, as many ways as you possibly can. Okay, we're getting news here, guys. Trump says bomb will go off if ceasefire expires. PBS is reporting that. Here we go. This is the real-time news. As we're starting to come lower, that's the headline. That's the headline. I'd be really cautious. So that's a negative one, right? Probably gonna get something on Truth Social. He's got a pretty decent routine. Usually once we start to get headlines from comments out of him, he seems to hop on Truth Social and then it's all bets are off. But that's the initial one from PBS. Bombs will go off if the ceasefire expires. Nice. So maybe he's got something going on with PBS right now. That's what it looks like. Watching markets. Second round of talks between the U.S. and Iran is planned for Wednesday. There you go. Yep. Here's the market moving on Trump comments. He's talking right now. Doesn't know if Iran is doing the next round of talks, but says it's fine if Iran is not at the Pakistan talks, excuse me. Interesting. Nothing out of YM, and I don't see that I'm going to get something here, guys. This kind of feels like the opportunity's coming here on NQ, so I may try to run this long. Being on the wrong side of this, if it starts to develop negatively, is definitely not going to help me. I was waiting for another pullback on something like this for again, this was what I was looking for initially. We got really close here. Stop loss somewhere down here, all the way below this price action market structure, where I feel the trade would be invalidated. If we came all the way lower, I feel that we would be moving lower. We'd have a really good chance of extending this to the downside, maybe down to this next area of high volume. I wouldn't mind getting long for continuation. Just keep blasting all-time highs. But I'd like a way to structure my risk to do that. So for now, sitting patient. Try not to do anything too stupid on a no news Monday. A no scheduled news Monday. Even though we got news every day now. Chat. What are we thinking, guys? All good. Always rocking. What's up, Jake? What's up, man? Good morning, everybody. Alan, good morning. What up? I can't pronounce that name. What's going on? The question is, what are talks? Like, hey, how's it going over there? Yeah, no, Dubski, what's up? No YM today. No, YM every day. YM every day, man. Just no setup. Again, guys, I'm just, you know, so if you're newer here or if you've been here for a while, you've watched me bounce around. I've been trading YM almost exclusively for like 6 months, right? I have been adding NQ back in for multiple reasons, but I am actively watching throughout the trading day, primarily YM and NQ, right? I've run some different option plays. I do plenty of things on the longer, you know, term position, holding in equities, right? You know, I've got plenty of different other income streams through the financial markets and elsewhere, but I am watching YM and NQ in combination. Right now, as we're pushing the upside, Jake, I don't have any trade on this. I didn't want to short here. I didn't want to short in here, breaking pre-market high. I really don't want to short below this level. And even up here, I don't really want the short. I really don't want to short this market. Based on higher time frame, price action, market structure, everything that we've seen last week, my win rate on shorts starting to drop off and my hit rate on longs starting to increase. You know, majority is calling for this to be, you know, to be cautious on the short side. As this continues, my mean reversion short is just diminishing, right? There's an opportunity to fade it right here, right? But I don't like this. I don't love this for a trade. This would be it, you know, if I was going to take one. By the time we get all the way up here, it's really no longer a mean reversion short. It's just a complete reversal. And, you know, we've come into the open. Buyers have stepped in, and then we would have came higher. Buyers have held. Do I think that it's just going to turn on a dime because I'm on the right side of a Trump comment? You know, maybe, maybe not. For MNQ here, I still have a chance. For MNQ here, I still have a chance to position myself long with a decent invalidation point, right? On higher time frame, moderate time frame, low time frame, pushing to the upside. We got more headlines, guys. Yeah, it's gonna be headlines all day, as it has been. So anyway, I got potential to position myself for a long here in NQ. I don't like it as much as my mean reversion trade off of the open on YM, but I don't have that at all. And I would like to continue to exercise putting trades on as I see fit. So I was looking for this area down here. You know, this might be it. This just might be it, where we're going to hold above VWAP and start to take off. We're certainly making the case for it. I wanted the clean out move to the downside, pop stops on the early longs. We're not getting that. We're not getting that just yet. Strange day, started nice, now junk action. My practice account died today. It was green. Slow beat. If it was real, would have had over 30 green days. There you go, Mike. There you go, Mike. Yeah. We could all trade. It's a good question to ask, right? Mike says, you know, could have had a $25,000 payout in over 30 green days in the practice account. Ask yourself that question, right? Not just you, Mike, because I know we've talked about it, but everybody else. Why can we trade like gods, like heroes on demo? How can we just not lose? How are we always able to make money on demo, right? And you might say, well, it's because that you have an unlimited amount of, you know, risk and you could keep putting on more trades. Sure, that's part of it. But you wouldn't trade like that if it was, you know, you had that amount of money to begin with. It's the way that you think about trading. It's the mindset and psychology around not having any actual risk on the line. So you're able to just do what makes sense. You're able to just trade the way that you think you should be trading based on all the tools that you use. And you're not trading your P&L. You're not thinking about a payout. You're not thinking about how much money you're about to pull out, what you could do with all that money, and how you're going to tell all your friends and your family that you finally got profitable at that stupid trading thing that they told you shouldn't do, right? That's how I would argue, right? I can throw TradingView backtesting mode and just insane, right? So can almost everybody. We can trade on demo, usually, almost always, paper trade, beautiful results, absolutely beautiful, right? It's not incredibly difficult to read price action, market structure, whatever tools you're going to use when there's no risk on the line, right? It's easy to a degree. You put money behind it, right? You put a real, outcome behind that, a risk, potential for loss, everything changes. So, but it's really important to think about that so you can kind of get away from, I need another tool, and that's going to fix why I can't make any money when I'm trading in real money, right? Go back to demo, go back to paper trading, and you got some consistency over, a few weeks, a few months of trading, some real consistency, a solid, risk to reward and win rate that's creating a positive expectancy. You probably have most of what you need. You put risk on the line and all of that's going to change, but ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. It's probably not the broker screwing you. It's probably not all of a sudden market conditions completely changed from what you were doing, right? It's you. It's your execution. It's the way that you're thinking about trading. You're thinking about that P&L. That money's real now, right? That's going to hurt when that stop loss hits. And all of a sudden, everything that you were doing on demo goes completely out the window and you're actually doing something completely differently. But really, really important to think about. Watching this market continue to dip its toe lower, man. I want the long on this, guys. I really do. I'm just taking a look at YM. Finally turning to the downside a little bit here. ES holding much stronger. Chance we just come through the lows for sure. We fill the gap and then come lower. No test of VWAP, man. I can't even take it off VWAP. This is gonna go. I know I don't know anything. I got a real strong feeling I got the read right. I got a real strong desire to long it. I can't do it from up here. I don't. It doesn't this is not my trade at all. I think if you trade like this, there's nothing wrong with it, but you're gonna need to try it here, and then if it comes lower, you're probably gonna need to try it here, and then if it comes lower and you get stopped out, you're probably gonna need to try it here, right? It's just not usually my style of trading. I don't like to trade with really low risk and take 47,000 scalps. So I'm going to wait patiently on this, guys. I'm looking for through the 700s. We'll see. But while I'm hanging out with you guys, we're going to crack. That's how you know it's going to be a good day. We're going to crack, where's my right camera? Oh, an OG sugar-free Red Bull. Oh. Yes, I know energy drinks are bad. They have arsenic and they're going to kill you and they're horrible. I like some caffeine from time to time, and I think there's plenty of worse things you could do in the world than enjoy a nice sugar-free Red Bull. Do I think it's inherently good for you? No. No, I don't. Before you critique me on my drinking of a Red Bull, I want to hear the rest of your life. Immediate defensive for someone to say Red Bull's bad. Yeah, so guys, again, I'm just kind of sitting patient, yapping, watching this thing. Zach, what do you think? Let's read. Do you think in general we're going to continue this bull run or not, looking into the future? I don't know. Amor's fit, and I don't think anybody knows. I think people that are better suited to make those calls are going to be people that are really in tune with high time frame, what the Fed is doing, the economy in general, interest rates, the bond market, currencies, metals, and all of the fundamental drivers behind it. And even they never really know. So I don't find it too helpful to create this really high time frame bias and say, looking into the future, what do I think, is going to happen? Because once you do that, you're creating this bias. You're saying, I think it's going to go up, or I think it's going to go down. And you can really find yourself getting overly bullish or overly bearish and taking yourself out of looking at what's happening on the chart day over day, right? Again, I am paying more attention to macro, to geopolitics, to, the fundamentals, the news that are driving these markets around. But not so much where I'm creating this insane, I think the markets are going to all-time highs over the next 3 months, and then they're going to turn back down, and this is what the dot-com bubble looked like, so then we're going to sell off. I don't really play that game. At its core, I'm technical. I want to see what's going on. Price isn't lying, right? Price is going to do what it's going to do. I want to try to position myself according to that. And I like to pay attention to, yes, the higher time frame trend of the markets from a technical perspective, but not try to guess. If the talking heads that have every qualification and certification and degree can't get it even remotely close to right, I'm probably not going to. Oh, True Social post. Israel never talked me into war with Iran. The results of October 7th added to my lifelong opinion that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. All caps. I did watch and read the fake news and polls in total disbelief. 90% of what they say are lies, and it continues. Yeah, he's all over on this one. He's talking about the 2020 presidential election. He's talking about results in Venezuela. Media doesn't like talking about the results in Iran as we're selling off here. Regime change. Iran can have a great and prosperous future. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know exactly what to make of that. It's a lot. Essentially, just it looked like the first sentence was what he was trying to get across. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Getting close to giving me a long entry here. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it if I get it. 713 for VWAP here. Hang on one second. I'm just looking at VWAP discrepancy. Oh no, we're close today. Looking to buy into a nasty wick down, guys. That's my game plan here. If this starts to wick, it's not gonna do it for me. Come on, bro, give me the trade. Not to sound like a complete amateur here, emotional or anything like that. I'd like the trade here, but I'm gonna keep myself patient, man. I'm gonna need like the 700s to be cracked. I'm gonna buy right into it. I'm not waiting for a 1 minute candle. I'm not waiting for a reversal or some weird confirmation or whatever you guys like to talk about. But I'd love to get a long down in here with a stop loss way outside of this, just in case we did come way lower. I don't think we turn on a dime just because I hit the buy button. But I'd like for us to crack through this last level liquidity, maybe to the 700s here, and give me the long. Arbitrary take profit way outside. This is not, the final holding place, right? It's just something that's way out here in case we started to rip or in case I got to step away. But yeah, looking to risk it for the biscuit on a long here. There's definitely a chance we just come through and trade back down towards the lows. Here comes more volatility, guys. What is that? Let's hear what headline comes in. Nothing just yet. Maybe nothing, maybe just volatility. This is gonna be another Friday. It's not gonna give me my level. It's gonna go. Dang, man. I really don't like front running this. We're gonna go now. Unbelievable. Couldn't give me VWAP, NQ. Couldn't give me VWAP, huh? Couldn't give me VWAP, dog. Again, guys, still looking long here. Super frustrating, man. Yeah, it's interesting because also the way that I trade NQ, you know, NQ loves to pull these crazy overshoot, right? Like instead of just tapping VWAP or getting close to it like it's doing today, it loves to just like pull one of these and you're like, oh my god, NQ broke through VWAP, and then split second it's right through the highs. So was patiently waiting for my nice wick down to get an entry in here, right? Generate some beautiful profit right back up to these highs, but it just didn't give it to me. Really didn't give it to me today, so I'm gonna stay patient, guys. I'm not gonna force anything. I'm gonna try to keep myself from doing anything stupid. Frustrating to watch this because we keep getting bought right back up without coming into the area of interest for me. 20 points ish on NQ, which is not nothing. Right? It's not nothing. So I'm gonna wait on this and just watch for the time being. Oh, it's awesome, dude. It just means your strat. Probably liquidate the lows and then skyrocket without Trump news. Yeah, maybe. This to me felt like a potential for pullback down to VWAP and just the continual grind higher. Unless, in general, right, kind of just talking like my general bias and feel for this market, unless something really changed here, right, unless something really changes, this is really clear cut. We are in drive through all-time highs and continue mode, right? Not to say that we can't get a nice pullback, we can't get a nice, rejection, but unless something really starts to shift, maybe all the headlines are BS and it's all overinflated and the bottom's going to fall out and, all those bear cases are right. That's fine. But, unless that starts to happen, trying to pick when and be ahead of that, I think is a dangerous game. Here on NQ, again, just from a price action market structure standpoint, bullish overall, right? Higher time frames, lower time frames, moderate time frames, just overall bullish. Gap down, bullish Asia London, not to say that too many times, moving to the upside through pre-market, moving to the upside off of the open, pull back down to an area of high volume VWAP, and we did have a temporary volume point of control down here before it moved up here, right? Looked like a good spot to allow me to structure risk and find a long. Now if we don't get that, we don't get that, right? If we get close, we trade the 715s. Again, I allow myself a lot of flexibility and discretion, but it's a game of inches. It's really a game of inches. So still sitting patient. We ain't done yet, man. I got accounts to trade. Got accounts to trade. So we'll see. See what we get today. We shall see, chat. Oh my god. Kick. Why do you guys just spam the chat? What in the world is this? Just trying to sell kickbots. Delete, 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 delete. God, guys are relentless. Sloth Father, what up? Get them out of here. They're out of here. They'll be back though. It's the Wild Wild West on Kick, man. It's the Wild Wild West on Kick. I'm late to class. What's up? What's going on? Yeah, we're sitting patient here. No trade on YM here today. Really not an opportunity for me, at least, for a mean reversion style trade. It's kind of hanging out up here, so if you wanted the shorts, you know, this is not a terrible spot, but I'm starting to get more cautious on the short side for obvious reasons. A snap of pre-market highs just to fill this gap was not going to be enough for me to get long. For me to get short. I talked about, you know, if we really blasted higher, potentially looking for, you know, what was going on up above Friday's high, right? Maybe towards this massive round psychological number, the 50,000 evens. But overall, we started to just pop off the open and then hang out up here. So we hopped over to the absolute monster, the pain bringer NQ, and was looking for a similar trade, which would be more of a continuation long, right? A pull back down to potentially get positioned long. I haven't gotten that just yet. We got really close. Again, this is now dragging VWAP up. VWAP is dynamic, so, you know, as we came lower, VWAP was down here, right? We're getting drugged to the upside. Still looking for around the 26,700s for a nice wick down, take everybody else out. Maybe a failed initial balance breakdown. And then a continuation back towards the highs would allow me a nice W, but I don't know. I'm not going to do anything crazy, guys. It's Monday, fresh week. We got craziness, just immediate craziness hitting the wire as we have for what feels like forever. Trading Trump markets, headline markets, whatever you want to call them, war, you know, conflict markets. Got some crude oil updates coming in. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We tried to come back up on it. Now we're coming lower another time here. I'm still looking for it, but again, especially now, I want that aggressive overshoot, right? I want that really YM respects levels. ES I find respects levels a lot cleaner than NQ. NQ, you know, is just a wild man, right? It'll blast through it by dozens of points just to come right back up. That's just kind of the movement characteristic, if I could say, from a technical standpoint on YM on NQ. So I'm gonna wait for that. See if we, you know, if we kind of pull this crazy shakeout move to the downside. If I wanted to be long off the 700s, I'd put an order here, right? You know, I'd set a limit order here. I don't. I'm gonna wait for this crack below, and then maybe a little bit of hesitation or not to buy into that dip down. There's really nothing showing on NQ until we get to the 700s, which is about 25 points, 30 points below price right now. I'm gonna watch this on ES. We got an interesting stack right down at the 140s. 10:30 a.m. Here we go. Let's see if we crack initial balance low here. Again, guys, you know, not my. I will grain of salt this. Not my bread and butter. Not my YM mean reversion trade, right? Not what pays me exceptionally well that I have a really good track record on. NQ is a wild man, or a wild woman, however you want to think of the market. But I don't mind this for a setup. Let's see, chat. Oh, chop it around, doing nothing. Yeah, this is kind of choppy. Kind of choppy. Not a lot. ES is trash. I like ES, man. A lot of guys do well on ES. You don't trade metals? No, I don't trade metals. Ugh, I primarily don't trade metals. I have traded metals. I dip my toe in the water every once in a while, but I'm not a gold trader. And again, nothing wrong with gold. Nothing wrong with silver. Nothing wrong with crude oil. Nothing wrong with ES. Nothing wrong with whatever you want, right? This comes down to you as a trader. Here we go, tapping VWAP. Hormuz blockade seen as 27 vessels directed to turn back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're gonna get headlines now? Test of VWAP. Test of VWAP here. We're gonna fail initial balance and then pop right back through the highs. Looking for a long here, guys. I might No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm staying overly patient today. This is not bad. You know, long right off of VWAP, right? You know, test a VWAP and then immediate pop right back up. I'm gonna wait. I think we got the clean out move coming today. This price action market structure is not overly bullish, right? We tested, you know, couldn't come back through the high. Now we're coming all the way down into VWAP, hammering with multiple, you know, 15-minute bars, breaking bar lows. It's not overly bullish. We got more and more headlines coming in, right? Any one of those can just rip the market in any direction. But I'd like my level to be hit, which I'm looking around this area. You know, at least just psychological number here. Just what I had been eyeballing to throw with a black line. Close. Morning, America. Bought my first ever funded prop account. Damn. Last trade this morning. Now funded. Code RDF for the win. Yo, Ivan. Code RDF gives you good luck. Welcome to the show, man. If I could give you any comments, not as financial advice. First off, I appreciate anybody that uses a code or a link or anything. You guys don't have to do that, right? Do whatever is best for you. I will always say that. It's free 99 across the board here. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with multiple companies that I use myself. You know, don't feel the need to use them if they're not the best fit for you. You decide that. But as someone that's into their first prop account, take it incredibly slow. Incredibly slow, right? You know, you're just coming off of demo, or maybe you're coming off a live account or something. It's very different. And it just doesn't make sense to try to go fast with it. You should give yourself a ton of losses before you risk putting the account at, you know, a ton of days traded before you risk putting the account in danger. I think that's a smart thing to do. So here we go, guys. Dipping lower. This is looking kind of weak. I'm looking for one more nice clean out move to the downside. I don't know if we're gonna hold VWAP here. Got ES loaded up on Bookmap on the left-hand side. Kind of like this from in here. I'm gonna take this one in here, guys. Oh, I'm gonna take this one on here. I didn't even realize I was on the mini and I was getting tighter with the stop loss. Well, we're trading one mini. Trading one mini here, guys. I'm gonna take this one in here. Finding some buyers off of VWAP. I've waited patiently all damn morning. We got our crack of the initial balance low here. I'm fading that for this to fail and come right back in. I'm not waiting for a whole lot of confirmation. In fact, confirmation at all. Taking this one aggressively long. Full risk on a funded prop. Looking for a nice rejection off of VWAP here. I'd like to have a stop loss all the way down below these lows. I'm tighter than I'd like to be here. But you know what? Sue me, guys. This one does present a better risk structure if we just start to get a crack back above these highs, 100 points to the upside, because I'm only 100 points to the downside rather than to stop way down here, 200 points down below lows. If we come all the way through this, unfortunately, we're not holding VWAP. We're not going to hold this little high volume node here. We're going to rip through and stop me out. So I'm going for the long off of VWAP here after catching a little bit of a reaction here on the 15-minute. Gonna run this bad boy long. That's gonna be my play here from now on NQ. Again, aggressive. Not my bread and butter. Like I like to preface, what I talk about. Not my bread and butter. Not my YM trade. Nothing really set up on YM. We're getting a little bit of that mean reversion, a little bit, but this didn't look like a wonderful spot to start shorting the market. So that's going to be the play today. Let's see if the market's got a W for me or if we are going to take a stop. Again, as far as overall risk exposure, right? You might say, Zach, that's crazy. 100 points on one mini on a funded account. Overall risk exposure, I don't know how many fundeds I have at the moment. And then, even more evals, right? I trade them individually, and if I'm going to trade them individually, I trade them very aggressively, right? If I was going to copy trade them, I'd still probably trade them pretty aggressively, but less aggressively. If I was going to copy trade them all together, I would trade them much less aggressively, right? More similar to a live account. So, it's all relative. It's all, it all depends, right? Not going to work yourself towards larger and more frequent payouts, taking 3 payouts with Lucid, racking up a few $1,000s a week by putting on small risk, in individual one account. It's just not the way. You're not going to lose them, right? Might not lose them too quick, but that's just part of the play here. So always like to talk about that. I like it, but not today. Trying out VWAP for days when my setup does not show. Short YM, back to VWAP. Nice. Previous day point of control seems to be where price is creating from. Didn't get a complete gap fill. Yeah. Previous day volume point of control. Yeah, we did not get come all the way back, all the way up through this, but yeah, previous day volume point of control. So what Sand the Trader's pointed out here is, the importance of prior day's volume point of control. Just so we know what we're looking at here. These are session volume profiles, right? It is technically an indicator, but it's really just a volume readout. Session volume profile gives you the session volume profile. High volume nodes, lower volume nodes, right? It also gives you a volume point of control, VPOC, which is the area of highest volume for all of that session or whatever you're displaying. If it's visible range volume profile, it's the visible range. And they give you a value area low and a value area high. I don't like so many colors, so this is a little bit harder to see, but this would be value area high, right? The shaded area, this would be value area low. So I actually am long right off a value area low from prior day, which is not too bad. But if you go back and look, if you go back and back test, right? Similar to the way that I use visible range volume profile and all of the other volume profiles, volume point of control from the prior trading session, the area of highest volume traded, right, horizontally, is often a key level, right? There's usually some price action market structure to support that. So looking at volume profile, right, it kind of overlays with price action market structure, but looking at volume profile, specifically prior day's volume point of control, I think it'd be super helpful. Super duper helpful. Long YM at IB low. Nice. 1 mini. RTY strongest index today. Nice. Yeah, I don't look at RTY at all. But cool. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Twitter post going crazy. What do we got? UK, comments out of the UK. All right. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Does not like that. Deal be signed tonight as tensions explode. Mexican president. Yeah, you guys got multiple headlines coming out across all these. Let's see, man. Let's see if we're going to get the choppy day. No continuation. Let's see if we're not going to go crack all-time highs to start the week out. So far, breaking VWAP to the downside. Let's see if we catch some buyers. Finally getting aggressive and entering above VWAP did not pay me today. Being even more patient and waiting for that 26,700 levels that we're trading right now would have presented me with a lot better of an entry. But let's see. Let's see. There's our overshoot. Let's see if we come back right through and reclaim it, as the analysts like to say. Dropped off on CVD here on ES and NQ after breaking that IB low. Would really love to see us pop right back up to the upside, come back through VWAP, and push this bad boy higher for this to be a potential W. Last bit of sorry, I mean to make you guys dizzy over here. Last bit of liquidity. I mean, we're not terribly thin down here. Last bit of liquidity on ES. Do we rip through this with some force? That's gonna be the question here. Let's see what the market's got for me today, guys. Appreciate you guys hopping on as always. We got a bunch of people hopping on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here, man. Long NQ, taking some heat. Let's see if we're going to get the stop today, man. Or let's see if we're going to get the beautiful push right back through after a retest in an uptrend. More comments out of Iran. Iran's deputy foreign minister said the U.S. should stop their excessive approach. Okay, that doesn't sound too friendly. I'm waiting for the next True Social post if we get one. Oh yeah, we got comments all over the place here. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Let us see. But something I was talking about earlier, guys. If you are interested, I'm just going to pop this up for another second. If you are interested in how the hell I am getting news faster than everybody else, or faster than most people, this is it. News Squawk. I was talking about this last week. I am proud to be officially partnered with these guys. I'm super excited. It's one of those things, it's very few things in the trading space where I go, this is something that I don't know how I was operating without. This is one of them. Real-time news. Not your CNBC, not Financial Juice, not forexfactory.com. Real-time curated financial news headlines, breaking, scheduled events, all things financial news and fundamentals. Both in text, like you see here, across multiple different customizable widgets in a web-based platform, and in real-time audio Squawk, where there are actually live people waiting to get it, and they're fighting for up to the second speed, even less than a second speed, to get them out to traders, banks, institutions as fast as they possibly can. A ton more features on here, but if you are trading at all, every day, you're trading headlines, you're trading news, right? Whether we want to or not, it's the market that we're in. I honestly, I'd prefer not to a lot of times, right? We just don't have that luxury anymore. So if you find it important to understand and be, you know, kind of as quick as you can to understand what's going on with all those headlines, right? This is going to be a really good asset for you. If you want to try News Squawk, because it is paid, You can try it for $19.99 with code RDF for 7 days. You get the entire platform. You get to talk to them one-on-one. You get news Squawk as far as the real-time alerts go, the customizable platform, the email with their full research suite. If you want to check it out, I will throw the link in chat. Again, there are others out there, right? There are plenty of others out there. There's other similar things out there. I've tested a handful of different things. I've paid attention to a handful of different things, both free and paid. In my humble, biased opinion, right? There's nothing close to this. There's nothing even remotely close to the level of service and the platform they have on this thing. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. You guys want to check it out? Link is in chat. Code RDF gets you the deal. Not going to be for everybody, right? Because it is paid and it is not cheap. I know I repeated that a couple times already. I think it's important to note. I think it's important to note. If you are looking for every advantage you could possibly get in this market, I think this is one of them that is drastically overlooked. Drastically overlooked. But you have to ask yourself, first, do you pay attention to news at all? Should you be paying attention to news at all, right? Like, is that something you do already? Is it something you're trying to do? And then if you're going to do that, how are you going to do that, right? You're going to open up Twitter, just pay attention to Truth Social. You're going to try to get, real-time news by paying for it some way. If you want to go to the best, one of the best, and again, my humble biased opinion, I think News Squawk is a great one to try out for $20. But that's up to you guys. As always, I'm partnered now. I am affiliated. I stand to make money. I can't be unbiased. I talked a lot about it over the last couple months. You guys can see how, my trading kind of evolves in real time. We've been trading these headline markets. I'm like, dude, I need to, I need to, I'm going to bring this back down so we watch at the same time. I need to understand what the heck's going on and try to stay up on these headlines. It's out of control on Truth Social, on just general comments out of the war. And, this has been absolutely awesome. And I'm just incredibly impressed by how much of a white glove, hands-on, human experience they have. It's crazy. So anyway, if you want to check it out, link is in the chat. Code RDF gets you the deal. I got more videos coming up on YouTube showing you, if you're not ready for it yet, showing you guys the platform, explaining what you can and can't do with it, all the different ways you can customize it, so many different things than just what I'm talking about here. They have really early on, like a lot of stuff you would have to pay for separately, right? Options data, block trades, large trades, SEC filings, a ton of different curated stuff on individual equities, on metals, on crypto. They're really in the weeds, man. And they've been around for a while. You don't really hear many people talk about paid news services. I don't know why. I don't think these guys and many other of them feel the need to market. They just do what they do because their service is so damn good. But I'm happy that I got a chance to bring it to you guys because it's been awesome to pay attention to last week. Really for the last couple weeks, just really trying to stay up on, what's going on coming into the trading day, right? Try to understand the headline risk factors that we're dealing with. And then as it's going on, right? Staying up on what's going on as we're trading throughout the trading day. So I'll be talking more about it in Discord as well. If you're not in the Discord, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Feel free to hop in. Sitting patient here, guys. Still sitting patient here in my trade now. Waiting to see. Here we go. Headlines breaking. U.S. CFTC and SEC are proposing amendments to private fund reporting legislation. That's not really related to what we are talking about right now, but that's interesting. I wonder what the details are on something like that. Back up to VWAP. Would have loved to see us come right back through aggressively. Let's just take a look around the horn at all of these. ES with some similar structure, got close and finding some buyers. YM with some similar structure, got close in finding some buyers. NQ with the nice crack of VWAP and found some buyers, and now breaking through. Oh, nasty volatility. Absolutely nasty volatility. This looks like it's going to be an immediate stop out. Let's see what this headline is as it's coming through. There it is. Super duper late fill on TradingView. I'm gonna have to actually see what that was. Insane. But here we go, guys. I don't have Squawk on, so I'm gonna get it probably at the similar time as you. Trump says highly unlikely he extends ceasefire with Iran. Ceasefire expires Wednesday evening, Washington time. Wow. Nasty volatility for the stop out, guys. Nasty volatility on the stop out. Wrong side of the next headline, unfortunately. President says will not open the strait until the deal is signed. Vance will leave for Pakistan later on Monday, so more headlines coming in. But there we go. That's gonna be lights out on that one. Absolutely lights out on that one. I gotta see what if it even was remotely close to filling me. No, I got slipped on that one. Nice. More headlines coming in. U.S. President Trump says a meeting with Iran can work well for all. Ceasefire expires on Wednesday evening, Washington time. Okay, that's kind of the overview of it. Nasty volatility right down to these lows. Let's see if I would have survived with my initially potential wider stop down here with some micros. But I'm going to get ready to get another account loaded up and keep the show rolling. But stop number one. Nasty wick down. Retest of VWAP on ES, and ES pulled the same really aggressive overshoot. On YM, nice retest of VWAP, holding much stronger. Let me see what I'm gonna get loaded up here, guys. We got some profit in a couple of these bad boys. Just took a payout in this one. Hang tight. I'm gonna swap over to another funded. Let's get this loaded up. Loaded back up. Reload. Next Lucid 50K. Let's see what we could do. Not sure that I'm going to get another setup after a nasty wick down. More comments coming. Headlines. Iran's decision not to participate in negotiations has not changed until this moment. Yeah, so they're just back and forth after the comments on the on everything over the weekend. Positive, negative, positive, negative. It looks like sellers aren't going to let the thing absolutely continue lower outside of just that wick so far and then move back up. Looks like I might have potentially survived it had I been on the micro chart rather than getting in a little bit more aggressive with 1 mini. But let's see. Part of the game, man. This is the markets that we're trading. Like, welcome to the show, guys. Now, we can only hope Snake gets rid of everybody first. What do we got? Waiting to go long. Haven't got it. Listening to the House of Comments. Always take L on NQ. Please avoid NQ for a few days. You can avoid NQ for a few days. I don't always take L's on NQ. I've taken L's on NQ like today and definitely some last week. But not only will I not avoid trading NQ, I don't always take L's on NQ, and I appreciate, you know, any feedback, but I certainly will not be taking trading advice from my chat. So Mohammed in the chat, you could avoid trading NQ maybe. Oh my God, price came to one tick to my SL and then TP in 10 seconds. Damn. Man, very nice. That one was brutal. Yeah, nasty wick lower. Let's see if it continues. Let's see if it continues. Again, part of the markets that we're trading, guys. It's really part of the markets that we're trading. I've been on the right side of some of those really aggressive moves to the upside. I'm certainly going to be on the wrong side of them. So starting out with a nice stop on a 50K Lucid Flex. Long NQ after a retest of VWAP, just ripping faces off lower. ES pulling something similar. YM back down. I almost like YM long now that we got a retest of VWAP. It's very, very similar trade. Just looking for my 200 to take a look and see what this would look like. Not sure that I want to hop right back in on a long, but this is a decent continuation style setup on YM. Again, not my bread and butter, not my short back towards VWAP. Those of you guys that took it, very, very nice. This is not a whole lot of room unless you got in right at the top. But yeah, watching YM, watching NQ. Nasty, man. Nasty. Let's see. Let's see what else Marcus got for me today. 10:58 a.m. Initial balance broken to the downside and some aggressive continuation on some harsh comments on what we got going on with the ceasefire and the war. Again, just relative to the market we're trading, right? Relative to the market we're trading. Traders should be able to sell along with knowing when to buy. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's why I sell so dang much. Let's see, man. See what this Marcus got. Swept some pre-market lows. Are we going to really blast lower? I'm holding this long bias here that we don't just turn and completely sell off. If we really start to turn to the downside, there's a really aggressive continuation style trade, but lower. But I'm not there just yet. Definitely not just there just yet. Nasty stop though. watching this down here. I'm kind of curious to see where we go from here, guys. Do we break lower and start to continue to the downside here? That was a really nasty crack down around VWAP. We got a closure all the way down around these lows. We did not just wick here and then completely bounce. We started to, but this is feeling very weak, and from a technical perspective is looking very weak. Now that we got through this level, I'm curious to see where we go from here. I'm gonna watch this for a little bit longer with you guys. Again, got another account loaded up. I don't want to be too flexible with my bias here, but nasty crack through on headlines. Again, not a bad pullback down to VWAP on YM after filling that gap. Let's see. Man, I see the short finally came back. That I lost my 45-day running practice account. It was a good run to the past 2 weeks. Can't tell if the market is just immune to Trump. I think there were Brexit drop. Yeah, it's not a bad read. It's not a bad read. Hard to tell. Honestly, hard to tell overall. Given the last 2 weeks erased approximately half a year of consolidation, it would not be crazy for DGT to erase the last 2 weeks of PA in the same period or less. Sure. Yeah, absolutely, right? You know, there's plenty of cases being made for both, right? Somebody was asking about, you know, higher time frame, what do I think is going to happen? There's plenty of solid cases to be made for both, right? You know, bears made the case for it to move lower, bulls made the case for it to move higher, right? Now that we're back through all-time highs, there's plenty that are saying, you know, we have a case for this to move higher for, you know, a zillion different reasons. Plenty saying it's unnatural, right? You know, it's just news-driven volatility. You know, there's really nothing that makes sense here as far as why we are as high as we are. I try not to speculate on that high of an outlook, that far of a time horizon. I do like to pay attention to what's going on the higher time frame, right, to a degree. But as far as I'm seeing so far, as it relates to headlines and news and conflict, market is, you know, hanging on to everything that's coming out of the Middle East, obviously, right? Obviously. As far as the last couple weeks, it didn't seem like anything could be negative. Even when something negative seemed to just dip its toe in, we got bought right back up. Breaking down lower, man. I'm kind of curious here. Was not expecting to see this today, but I'm wondering if we see the absolute floor fall out on this. Key spot here, obviously, just looking at price action, market structure, there's not much down below until we get all the way back down here. I think we're going to dip our toe here and come right back through, or the more likely case that we're making the case for right now, that we just rip lower. We hung out up here. We pulled back up, and it looks like we want to go here, man. This is looking very weak. I don't want to be on the wrong side of this. And I really don't love the breakout trade, but this looks like a short play. If we're actually going to move lower and pull back down to this level here. CBD dropped off pretty nicely. ES following suit. Let's see if sellers have it today. We're gonna get the first bearish bar on NQ on the daily that we've had since the beginning of the month. Man, I'd like to short this, guys, but I'm not the breakout trader. This thing is continuing aggressively lower. I'm not the breakout trader where I take the same trade multiple times with tight stops, but I'm looking for what I have left on this structure. No mean reversion on YM. I'm not going to take a long off of VWAP on YM. It's kind of the same trade I had on NQ. I think if we're going to dip, we got a real good chance to come all the way down here. I think if we see it on NQ, we're either going to see a bounce coming up here, right, after coming outside of this area of liquidity, or we move down really aggressively. I don't know if sellers have it in them. If I had to get positioned, it would be short. No good way to place a stop on this at all. No great way to place a stop on this. Stop back up at VWAP, back up about above this high volume node. I think we could easily pull back up before continuing lower, unless we just go break and run right now. Cumulative volume delta continuing to decline here. Where's the next Trump comment? Oh, the market dipped. Time to bring it back up. All right, like where's that one? Let's see. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Starting to get quiet here, guys. Zooming in, looking for a follow-up. Try to get on the right side of this market here. I don't have a super duper clean setup. If we get a pullback, you know, we're either going to turn this into a choppy day, or we're going to, again, I think we're either going to come right back up through, chop around VWAP, you know, chop back at this volume point of control, or we're going to have the selling pressure to continue all the way down to this next, you know, area of high volume. So again, this is more of a breakout style trade, continuation style trade, which is what I look to go for on NQ. Certainly not breakout. Entering on a pullback like this is more my style, right into these lows. I don't love this for an invalidation point. I certainly would be dead wrong if we pulled all the way back in. Getting a little bit of that retracement now. You can see it on ES's book map as well. Just to frame this, take a look at what I could do here. Nah, we'd have to be MNQ on this bad boy, because we're gonna go with around a just out of curiosity, because I'm gonna have to keep this one a little bit tighter. Gonna have to keep this bad boy a little bit tighter. Yeah, I don't have a great way to structure risk on this. Do I want to potentially take the second L here, guys? Is my question. To myself, I promise to myself, not to you. Yeah, but this isn't a great risk structure. I can't put something tight in here. I'm not gonna run something tight in here. Let's see if we continue to pull back a little bit. I don't mind a potential short on this for continuation lower. Again, kind of similar to the pullback down and the continuation higher. Now we've really negated that. We certainly could wick lower, take out all of the weak longs, including myself, before blasting right across this price action and volume to come higher. Market did not like that last headline. We wicked down really aggressively. We started to bounce right in here, but now we're just grinding lower. So it kind of looks like we want to go check that next level out. But, you know, can I structure risk on it in a way that makes sense to me, where I don't take a stop out for no reason and then it continues lower? You know, that's the key. So I like the potential shorts in here, but I don't have a really good way to get short. Gave us a little bit of a pullback on that, a little bit. But we'll watch this a little bit. Be watching this for a little bit. How many screens do you have in your trading setup, bro? Too many. I have the best trading setup out there, in my humble opinion. My humble biased opinion, because it's mine. I have two Samsung 49-inch ultra-wide G9 monitors on the bottom. I have a MacBook Pro in the middle, and then have two more 32-inch screens up top. Too many screens. But let me tell you something. More screens does not equal better trading. The screens are not your problem. It was a dude that was talking about making $1 million from his phone. So more screens are not necessarily going to help you. That's important to note. Let's see. Shaking off the first L of the week, man. First trade of the week, taking the L on NQ with you guys live here on a nasty wick lower on headlines. Quiet on the wire right now. Waiting to see. Are we just going to come right back up on it? I like this for a short. I like this for continuation. I'm tempted to put it on here. It's not a terrible trade. I do think we could pop right back up to VWAP, which we so often like to do before we continue lower. And this is just a dicey one. You know, I'm going to have a stop at just a not really ideal place on something like this, right? Regardless of risk, you know, here's the potential take profit. Where does my stop loss go, right? Where's the trade invalidated? Could we pop right back up before continuing lower, you know, into lunchtime? Sure. You know, I'd be trading with something really, really tight for a, you know, for an immediate breakout to the downside, right? We did pull back a little bit here. The sellers, at least for now, trying to drag it lower, but I just really don't love this. I really don't love this risk structure. On another day where this is looking a little bit different, I have a better way to have a clean invalidation spot where I say, hey, if we pull up here, I don't think we can come lower. If we pull up here, I think we could definitely still come lower, right? In fact, and that'd be a great spot to get short. So I don't want my stop there. Stop would need to be like way out here. Could still get somewhat of a one-to-one roll in, but I'm gonna wait to see if we pull up a little bit more. I don't know that we do. I think we break to the downside or we pull all the way back up. So no follow-up just yet. No follow-up just yet. Yeah, I'm not gonna have another good one on this. Besides a break lower and just keep taking everybody out. I'm gonna sit patient and watch for a little bit of a pullback. I'd like to hang out and get another one on with you guys, so I'm not ending the stream. I am gonna go grab some water. I will be right back, guys. Be right back. Chatty McChat. Anyone else try getting error when they try to post a chat? Ooh, hopefully not. Yeah, if you guys can't chat, let me know. That's not good. All right, let's see. Let's see what this market's got, man. 1L getting long near VWAP on NQ for the continuation of the upside. Broke aggressively lower here on some headlines. We're starting to pull back up. I'm curious, man. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm genuinely curious. Hang on. All good here, right? Let's get the poll. Let's get the poll going, right? NQ. Do you think we're actually going to break today's low and finally head towards putting a bearish bar in, and we're going to go and hit this level down here? Or do you think we're coming right back up through VWAP and current volume point of control? So let's say next level on NQ, 26,700, where I looked long, or 26, let's say 480. Let's say 470. There you go. You guys let me know what you think. I'm curious to see. These are the two spots I'm watching, right? I think we're either going to come right back up through VWAP. Right back up to this 700 level. Or we're headed all the way down and we're actually going to get some selling pressure. I am cautious short in this market, man. But level to level, area of interest to area of interest, right? Utilizing price action, market structure, volume, order flow, all the fun stuff. You know, these would be the areas that I'm watching next. Headline volatility coming in. What is this one going to be? Let's see. I saw a couple come in that says India says 10. Here we go. U.S. to host talks between Israel and Lebanon on April 23rd. Okay. A couple of them said it was a couple of reports. India reporting that 10 of their ships safely crossed the strait. Looks like that's the next spike to the upside here. But let's see what you guys think. Go ahead, smash a vote in the chat. As we're sitting patient, waiting for a follow-up here, and then the next question, right? The next question is: looks like no breakout to the downside. Stop my ass out and come right back up. We gonna put a choppy day in here? We just gonna do this, and this is gonna be our middle ground. Kind of what it feels like, at least for right now. Well, that answered itself quickly. Looks like we want the 700s. Iran delegation is making plans to travel Tuesday for negotiations with the U.S. There you go. New York Times reporting, citing 2 senior Iranian officials familiar with the plans. More headlines. Markets reacting. You know, how and when is conflict going to potentially be resolved or escalate? That's obviously what we're responding to here. You guys are about 50-50 so far. Looks like we're about to hit the 700s, so we're about 50-50. Headed out. See you tomorrow, brother. Back up. Somebody's called out. Back up. No rhyme or reason. One tweet away from 100-point wick either way. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit. A little bit. It's only when I post back to back. Oh, interesting. Long on Q10 micros. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Looks like that is probably paying you right now. Very nice. I'm trying to decide if I have another one here today, guys. I really am. I'm trying to decide if I have another one. Man, are we gonna come right back through these highs? ES popping to the upside, taking out some liquidity. I'm curious to see. You know, now this gives me a way to structure risk for a continuation lower after breaking IB. I'm curious on this one. Yeah, I'd prefer not to be short this market, but I'm gonna watch this for a little bit longer, guys. Gonna watch for a little bit longer with you. See if we can't put some damn profit in the account here. Pop off the open, sell back through VWAP, all the way, wick aggressively down around the lows. Seller's not able to take it lower. Next headline brings us higher. That's what we've got so far. All the way back up to current volume point of control and VWAP. Right back up to this key level. Now, do we get a break and retest and a continuation lower? Or do we just rip right back through the highs? I'm trading from the middle of this for tests of VWAP and continuation, right? And not through VWAP. Considering a short here. Whoa, not what I want. Right back up above VWAP here on ES. Buying pressure right back in. Yeah, man, Bills are just not letting this thing drop at all. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay patient on this one, guys. I'm eyeballing one, but I don't really like it. I don't really like it. This is some back and forth, choppy price action. You got an opportunity to go either way here, right? Back up to VWAP. I think we could get the retest, right? Where we really had some sellers come in. Breaking down towards lows. We didn't quite break today's low or pre-market low, right? Back up to VWAP. Where do we go from here, right? All the way down through the lows. That would be a nice break and retest of VWAP and then continuation lower, you know, down to this next area of high volume right here. Or kind of what we've been doing, as soon as we get any kind of a dip, gets bought right back up immediately back through the highs, right? So I think I'm going to take my L here, take a break, and then come back to get some aggressive scalping in some sim accounts later into the afternoon. Got long off of VWAP. I like this trade. No real setup at all on YM. Back to VWAP off of the open. If you were really, really aggressive with it, would have paid pretty nicely. Found buyers off of VWAP on YM. Kind of what I wanted to see on NQ. Didn't get that on NQ at all. Aggressive wick lower for the stop out. And now a pull back up towards VWAP. I really don't want to short this market. I think that's the only opportunity I have to look for a sell all the way back down towards the 475s. Maybe we see what happens up here. Stop outside of IB high or something like that. Maybe we get the double break today. Maybe we just come all the way back through the highs and go back to push. But I think I'm going to keep myself out of another one here. If I had to take a trade, and I don't have to take a trade, it'd be short maybe up until like the 725s, unless we just get one of these crazy, here we go, more headlines coming, crazy blasts of volatility, which are going to be right back up through the high. Lead Iran's delegation to, yeah, okay, so continuing to talk about the conflict. Insane, man. Insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna take my L today and call it here. Appreciate you guys hopping on as always. Thanks for being here with me. If you're not in the 100% free trading Discord, link is about to be in the chat right now. Hang tight, guys. Bam. Hope to see you guys in there. Hope to see you trading live with me. If you want to check out new Squawk, we were talking a lot about that today. Links in the chat as well and down below this video. If you want to check out any of the prop firms that I trade with, code RDF, going to get you the best deal. All the details in Discord and pinned to the link in chat. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope to see you live tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you always do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even if funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer. This is I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, and others. Can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Important for me to note that, for you to do your own research and make your own dang decisions. Guys, tough session. Be back at it tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon.